Hello, my beautiful friends. Seidel Schultz here, sound astrologer, back with another video, sound astrology video. So today I wanted to talk to you about the sound of Cancer. As I've been thinking about doing this video and really talking to you about what Cancer sounds like and what the Cancer energy is, one of the things that I just have kept kind of hearing or thinking is how often I see Cancer portrayed, or like some of the things that I see, some of the ways that I see Cancer portrayed in on social media or just on the internet with like regular astrology, right? And that is like a really emotional person, or like crying. I just see all these things about Cancer depicted as emotional and an out of control emotion. And while it can show up in that way, what I have noticed in my experience with Cancer and in my experience with the Cancer energy is that typically when someone is experiencing energy in that way, it's a little bit out of balance, and it's kind of more in the shadow of that sign. And so I want to say that, and I want to talk more about the light that I see in Cancer and what I hear as I listen to that Cancer energy. Okay, so I want to share this in a way that is not necessarily just for the sun sign or just for the moon sign or your rising sign. Like those are your big three. Those are your like the most obvious energy that's going to be displayed in your personality, right? So let's break that down just for a second. Our sun sign is like our conscious self. So it's really going to be what we're the most comfortable, like the way that we're the most comfortable showing up. And then you've got the moon sign, which is our heart. So sun sign is our head, the moon sign is our heart space. And this is where the base of our sound sits, but it's also kind of like our sacred self. So this is the place, like we're going to show up as this with the people that we feel most comfortable with. It's also the way that we can create the greatest impact on our audience, is sitting in our heart sign and allowing that to be seen and felt and even heard. And I do have a series. I will link that below. It's the Sound of the Moon series. So you can kind of take a look, listen to that. And in those videos, I share a little bit about how that shows up in the sound for each one of the signs. So we've got that. And then the rising sign, I like to describe the rising sign as this is how other people will experience my body or my energy when we're in person or we're one-on-one. So, oh gosh, I'm just going to share this as an example to kind of help you understand. So people with the Sagittarius rising sign, when I'm around them, I feel it's like a ready, I would just say ready for adventure. I'm excited, but excited in like a calm way, because Sagittarius to me does have this calmer feeling. Now, I know this is the Sound of Cancer video, so I'm gonna get there. I really am gonna get there. Taurus, like just being around someone who is a Taurus rising sign, I naturally will feel grounded. I will naturally gravitate to just be like kind of like chill and more comfortable with. I was just around someone with that was a Taurus rising, and I was thinking, wow, when I was sitting in her presence, it was like I was grounded, but not only was I grounded, I was like comfortable with affluence. And that's amazing. So each person is going to kind of, their energy is going to kind of share that vibe in their own way, because there's a lot of different ways to describe energy, a lot of different words to use to describe the different sounds of the sign or the different energy of the sign, right? And so with each person, that's going to express in a very specific way for them. Now, Cancer. So let's talk about Cancer because that's why we're here. Cancer with someone who has a Cancer rising. So when people meet them, there is so easy to love. And you just kind of like want to snuggle up to them. And because they have this nurturing energy, they have this loving energy. So that is one of the things that's most commonly known about Cancer is this nurturing energy. And I want to say this, as I've really listened to Cancer and really heard what this sign is saying to me, I've heard two very distinct things. The first is feeling and firm. And that's one of the things that's not talked about very often with Cancer, is that Cancer can actually be very firm. Cancer in its light is actually very good at setting boundaries. I know that's going to seem like a shocker to some people. I know it's going to seem like against maybe the norm for what's talked about, but this is what I have experienced as I have sat in the light of Cancer, as I've connected to the light of it, and what this energy is really saying to me is it's feeling and it's firm. Now, each sign will show up differently in a space of confidence. So each sign can show up confidently, right? And that would be like in the light of the sign. And Cancer, when a Cancer person is confident, they're going to say, I have feelings and I have boundaries, right? And you're not going to cross these boundaries, but I will be kind about setting these boundaries. So it's going to be, like, I think a really great display, like a distinction would be if you're looking at the difference between this, how Cancer would show up confident and how an Aries is going to show up confident, right? An Aries is like this bold fire, just like like a torch. This is how I describe the sound of Aries. It's like a torch. It's just like blazing a trail and cutting the trail in front of them, right? And so with a Cancer being confident, they're just going to be out there. They're going to be zipping along. They're going to be doing their thing. And a Cancer is going to be a little bit more calm. They're going to be feeling, and they're going to be firm about it. And they're going to say, okay, this is okay. So I'm sharing this as an example, right? So I'm a Cancer rising. So it's that first, this impression when you meet me, when you're around me, and when you're in this space of my energy, or the space of where my body's at and my body's emitting this energy, right? My husband and I were at a company trip that he earned, and a woman came and sat down next to me, and she was not a kind woman. And instead of saying, is someone sitting here? She said, I'm just going to sit here until whoever, the spot it is, they come back. And she's just really not somebody that I want to associate with. And I just looked at her and I didn't say anything. And it was a great, I mean, it might sound harsh to some. It might sound really kind to others, because I just could have said a whole lot of things to her. I do not like her. I don't like the way that she treats other people. It's so, she just doesn't honor other people's energy, And so, in that moment, looking at her and not responding created some sort of a boundary. And for me, it created this gentle boundary of, this is not behavior that I'm going to engage in. And I'm not going to engage in a conversation with you. And so that was that feeling like I am protecting myself and firm, right? And so this is like a confident Cancer can stand in that kind of energy. Now, we all have Cancer energy somewhere in our chart. So I want you to take a look at your chart and see where Cancer, what house Cancer is cusped by. So cusp would be like the horn. This, when I looked up the definition of cusp, it means the horn, right? So it's where the house intersects. And I'm actually going to show you, let me show you one of the charts. So here we have Cancer, and this starts right here. So this would be my chart. Let me show you another one. This is another chart here, and you can see this would be an example of the cusp for my friends that are just starting to get into astrology. This would be the cusp. So I want you to look at your chart and see where Cancer energy is cusp. What house cusps your Cancer energy? Because this is what I really want to talk about for just a second. We all have Cancer energy in our chart, every single one of us. And so this is where we get to be in that area of our life. This is where we get to be feeling and firm. This is where, and now I'm going to share the other part that I've really heard about Cancer. This is where we get to be cared for and supported, or where we really get to experience care and support in our life, the area that we get to experience this care and support for ourselves in this area, right? So if we come back, I'm going to come back in this area and we're going to talk about my chart just a little bit. Okay, so if we take a look at this, and it's just a little bitty, well, this is, it's interesting. Anyway, because it's showing the Cancer as the second house, and not the case. So, this Cancer rising, right? So this Cancer rising, so it's very important for me that I experience care and support with my body, that I am nurturing my body. So I'm not going to do things like harsh dieting. I'm not going to do like high intensity interval training, because that's not nurturing for my body. A great walk will be nurturing. Some weightlifting will be nurturing. I'm really stepping into listening to what is going to nurture my body. And as I care for and support my body in that kind of a way, it actually is what will help me transform my body. And then the same thing with my character. And it's what will help me transform my character. Does that make sense? So if we look at this one over here, we have Cancer in the 12th house. So really stepping into and allowing in this area, this is our personal relationship with God, right? So this is the 12th house, is our personal relationship with God. Allowing God to care for and support us in our lives. So let's go through really quick and just talk really quickly about each one of the houses. I'm just going to break this down really fast. So the first house is about our body and about our character. So care and nurturing, cared for and supported with our body and our character. So anytime we about ourselves. So when I talk to myself, it's important that I have languaging that's supportive and nurturing, right? If you have it in the second house, if it's cusped by the second house, this is your money, your value, your worth, anything like that. So when it comes to looking at your money and managing your money, you're going to do things that help you feel a relationship of care and support towards your money and from your money. So you're going to be like, how is my money caring for and supporting me, right? How is my worth? How can I nurture my worth? How can I care for and value and support my value? What are those things that I need in order to support my value? Then we've got the third house, which is the house of communication. So caring for and supporting our communication and doing so in a nurturing way. This can also look like, how do I communicate with others? So this can be like, how do I communicate with myself, right? But it can also be, how am I communicating with others in a way that's nurturing, in a way that's showing care and support? That doesn't mean they get to say whatever they want. It doesn't mean that they get to do whatever they want. Again, it's that Cancer energy is feeling and firm, right? Okay, so in the fourth house, we're talking about home. How am I cared for and supported in my home? How am I caring for and supporting my home? And how am I doing this in a way in my life that I when I'm looking to be at home in a certain situation. So when I'm like thinking, I want to feel at home in my business, if I had Cancer in the fourth house, I'd say, how can I nurture, like support and care for me in my business so that I can feel at home in my business? Does that make sense? So the fourth house, yes, is at home. It is our physical surroundings. It is that existence, but to me, it also represents feeling at home in certain situations. Okay, the fifth house is creations and enjoyment, like really enjoying our creations, right? And enjoying our life. So how am I nurturing my creations? How am I protecting my creations? Like, again, with that firmness in there, how am I allowing my creations to care for and support me? So these are some questions that you can ask yourself. The sixth house, fantastic to have it in the sixth house. So we're looking at making sure that on the daily basis, so the sixth house represents our daily basis, our health, how we're addressing those things with our health and like our daily routines. So what daily routines do I need to put in place that will help care for and support me? Then we've got the seventh house, which is our personal, like our intimate relationships. So this could be really close friends. This could be our spouse. And this is our intimate relationship with ourself. So it's a little bit different than the first house, because the first house is our character and our body, and the seventh house is that relationship that we have with ourselves. So this is what one of the things that with Cancer in the seventh house that you're going to value in your intimate relationships is a relationship that will help care for and support you, and one that you also care for and support. So how can I nurture my relationship? How can I nurture the relationship with myself? What do I need to do to experience that? The eighth house, fantastic house. I love it very much. So this is the house of transformation. That is like one of the biggest things. And I know each one of these houses can represent several different things. And I'm kind of isolating on just one or two of them, right? And with the eighth house, I really want to focus in and hone in on this transformation, because it can be other people's assets. So like really caring for and nurturing other people's assets. But what I have seen, especially for when I look at a natal chart and I look at it specifically for me and for my expression, I see the eighth house, and I really hear the eighth house is this place where I have personal transformation. So if we look at this and we look at the seventh house being intimate relationships, and we look at it as the intimate relationship with myself, right? And then it leads into this place where I can then transform, because I can't have a transformation unless I'm willing to be intimate with myself and see what's going on in that relationship with myself, right? So the eighth house is transformation. So how can I support and care for my transformation? And as I say that, one of the things that I think is even something as simple as a shower, and seeing the shower as a transformative process. I go in, I'm dirty, I'm stinky, I don't, when I need a shower, I don't feel great, right? Especially if I've been like working out, or I've been working in the yard, or doing something that got me like dirty and sweaty. I just feel gross. Then when I come out of the shower, I feel so much better. Like emotionally, mentally, physically, a shower just helps me feel so much better. And that can be a transformative process. So as we look at this thing, is like, what can I do to help care for and support transformation in my life? How can I set these firm boundaries around transformation in my life? What will be supportive? How can I nurture transformation? And then we've got the ninth house, and the ninth house is learning, it's teaching, it's religion, um, it's travel. And I know um, like travel can be really nurturing for some people, and can be really nurturing for people that have the ninth house cusp by Cancer. So you can absolutely look at it like that, and you can look at it like learning creates nurturing for me. So what is it that I need to learn that will help nurture me the most right now? What learning do I need that will care for and support me, like support me the most? How can I teach in a way that's nurturing? How can I teach in a way that supports other people, right? How can I teach in a way that's feeling and firm? So we're kind of like bringing all of those pieces in. I'm so excited to hear in the comments what house you have that is cusp by Cancer. Now, if your Cancer is intercepted, and I'm also going to put this one in the description, go ahead and take a look at the video that I have on intercepted houses, because if your Cancer is intercepted, then it is your sacred energy. And I want you to learn about that. Okay, 10th house. This would be the house of your career, the house of your business, the house of the public, your public view, or how people see you publicly, like from a distance, how people would see me on social media, right? And so this is really important, that if you have Cancer in this 10th house, that you're making sure that not only are you in alignment with this, that what you're doing for your business or your career is offering care and support for other people, but also understand that your business was designed, and the work that you're doing, or the job that is going to feel the most aligned for you, is going to be a business or a job or a career that also cares for and supports you. That's pretty big. It's really important that we're seeing that in our life, and that we're stepping into that, because we spend a lot of our time in our career, we spend a lot of time in our business, and we spend a lot of heart in that area too. So remembering our career, our job is meant to care for and support us, especially for those that have Cancer in the 10th house. The 11th house, hopes and dreams, friendships, groups of people, all of that. Like, oh my gosh, you have that cusp there. It's like hanging out with my friends feels nurturing, and it feels supportive. And it's important for you to choose into friendships that help you feel cared for and supported. It's important to see that as you step into your hopes and dreams, that they're there to care for and support you, and to choose in to, I want to say, like, what feels best to me, like as I'm listening to it right now. It's like, what I hear is, there are a lot of things that we can manifest, and there's a lot of things that we can choose from that we want and that we desire. And I believe that our hopes and dreams are like really at the center of us. And as you're going through those, if you have Cancer in the 11th house, as you're going through those, I just hear, the question I hear is, what do I desire that will support me? What do I desire that will nurture me? And allowing yourself to really be firm about that and to stay on that path. And then we've talked about the 12th house, which is our personal relationship with God. And so really leaning into that, that God can care for and nurture me, that God can care for and support me, and that he does, and seeing the evidence of that in our life. Okay. Has this been helpful? Do you feel like you understand that Cancer energy, especially in your life, a little bit better? I hope so. I will see you on the next video. Make sure that you like and subscribe for more Sound of Astrology videos. We'll see you next time. Bye.